This content is produced by DarkNetBreaker, a cybersecurity and dark web education brand. All videos, posts, and content are strictly for educational and awareness purposes only. We do not promote, support, or encourage any illegal activity. Our mission is to expose digital threats, protect online users, and educate the public about cybersecurity risks in the modern world. Stay ethical. Stay protected.
If you map out the entire internet, you'll find that 43% of all top websites run on a single piece of software, WordPress. While that dominance makes it incredibly accessible, it also creates a global automated attack surface. When a WordPress site gets hit, there rarely is a human sitting at a keyboard trying to guess your password. These attacks are executed by automated botnets, synchronized networks of compromised computers running scripts that relentlessly probe millions of sites at once. Because of this relentless scanning, over 90,000 WordPress sites are compromised every single day. The numbers are purely a function of scale and automated probability. Once a new vulnerability is publicly disclosed, administrators have a brief window to react. Within 72 hours of a flaw being announced, botnets update their scripts and begin scanning the internet to exploit any site that hasn't applied the patch. Launching a standard out-of-the-box WordPress site ensures it will be targeted. Given the current volume of automated probes on the network, discovery by these bots is a mathematical certainty. To defend a site, you have to understand exactly what the bots are looking for. The WordPress core software itself is highly secure, but the third-party plugin ecosystem is not. Plugins account for 97% of all known vulnerabilities. A frequent weakness in these plugins is local file inclusion, or LFI. This is a coding error that allows an attacker to manipulate the URL and force the server to execute arbitrary PHP code. Once that file runs, they can hijack the entire server. But attackers also target default authentication pathways. Every standard WordPress installation places the login screen at the exact same web addresses, like /wp-admin or wp-login.php. Automated bots use high-volume dictionaries of leaked passwords to hammer those exposed endpoints millions of times a minute. They amplify these password guesses using XML-RPC, a built-in WordPress feature designed for remote publishing. Hackers hijack this protocol to bundle thousands of password attempts into a single request, which can easily overwhelm the server and cause a denial of service. Then there are input exploits. If a plugin doesn't sanitize data correctly, attackers can use SQL injections to insert malicious database commands directly into search bars or contact fields, letting them bypass login screens entirely and steal the underlying database. Similarly, cross-site scripting, or XSS, occurs when a site allows users to submit raw HTML or JavaScript. Attackers embed malicious scripts into standard comment sections or forms, turning public-facing pages into silent, self-executing backdoors. The extensibility of WordPress, its vast ecosystem of plugins, thousands of custom themes, and interactive web forms, gives it incredible power. But that exact structural openness is its primary architectural weakness. Let's look at how this happens in the real world. Security researchers recently utilized dynamic application security testing to uncover zero-day vulnerabilities in popular web form plugins like Forminator and user registration. This image shows the exact exploit configuration. By accessing the plugin's settings, an attacker simply injects a malicious JavaScript payload directly into the redirect URL field, which executes right after a user registers. To the visitor, nothing looks out of place. This screenshot shows the compromised form, a clean interface asking for a username, email, and password. There are no visual warnings, but the moment the user clicks Submit, the hidden payload deploys an admin-side keylogger into their browser session. From that point on, every keystroke is silently recorded. This terminal log shows where data goes. The compromised plugin routes captured keystrokes, raw usernames and passwords, to an attacker server. Looking deeper, it harvests session cookies and metadata, giving the attacker everything needed to impersonate an administrator without triggering a single alert. The terminal readout also reveals a secondary attack. The malicious script quietly runs a port scan on the victim's local machine, mapping out open ports to find pathways deeper into their internal network. A single flaw in a simple registration form gives an attacker full administrative access. In a multi-site network, that one compromised plugin grants an insider threat administrative control over every other site on the server. Surviving in this environment requires active perimeter defense. You have to implement a multi-layered hardening strategy that intentionally breaks the attacker's automated kill chain. Start with strict access controls. Enforce two-factor authentication for all accounts. Install rigid limits on failed login attempts to stop brute forcing, and change your default login URLs so the bots have nothing to target. Next, immediately disable the XML-RPC endpoint. If you aren't using a third-party application to publish posts remotely, leaving this active provides a direct vulnerability for denial of service attacks. Establish a true perimeter defense by routing your traffic through a web application firewall. A WAF analyzes incoming HTTP requests and automatically drops malicious scripts and SQL injections before they ever touch your actual web server. On the server itself, secure your architecture. Set file permissions strictly to 644 for files and 755 for directories, and move your sensitive configuration files, like wp-config.php, out of the public-facing root directory. Finally, enable automatic updates for the WordPress core and all active plugins, and maintain encrypted off-site backups. Relying on default settings leaves the underlying database exposed. The evidence shows that without these hardening steps, the architectural gaps remain open for any bot to find. Even with defenses in place, you need to know the indicators of a breach. Look out for sudden spikes in server load, unexplainable SEO spam appearing in search results, or the creation of new administrator accounts you didn't authorize. If those signs appear, trigger your triage playbook immediately. Isolate the site from the public internet, scrub the directories for any newly injected PHP files, and rotate all database, FTP, and user credentials. Simply deleting the malware is rarely enough. Attackers excel at burying persistent backdoors deep in your theme files. Restoring your architecture from the clean, verified offsite backup is the only way to guarantee the threat is entirely removed. WordPress security is not a software product you install once and forget. It requires continuous monitoring, rapid patching, and strict access controls.